are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day. Na, 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 na.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me. Oh. My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, that's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
You are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Nah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so I can come over.
Come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So I'm here to balance out all the bad news with some good news and good people. If you missed my interview with legendary impressionist you're David today, Rich Little, who I got to interview in Las Vegas, then please do go free subscribe on my YouTube TV channel. And you can get all of those past 1,114 shows, as well as my red carpet playlist with interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Jennifer Jones, and more. And today is hashtag Tuesday Talent, and I have a face that you haven't seen in my studio before. He is my guest for today, and let me give you a little intro. He's David Christopher Lee. He's a celebrity photographer, journalist, and SEO expert. He got his start working with 17 magazine at the age of 17, and in 1999 as the official digital photographer of the Teen Choice Awards. Since then, he has worked with Richard Branson, Lady Gaga, the Kardashians, and so many more. Please welcome to my studio, David Christopher Lee. Hold it, wait for it. Here. Good morning, David.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And David actually reached out to me on Instagram in a message asking to feature me on his page. And I don't know about you guys. I'm sure you all have been approached by people who say, I want you on stage. I want to give you this. I want to give you that. And it ends up being there's a charge, a pay to play. So I have to admit, I was not warm and fuzzy with David with my response, because it was, once again, if it is, I'm not, I don't buy numbers. I don't care about numbers and any of that stuff. So that was the first exchange. And then I finally had a minute to go and look and see the great things he does, especially his emphasis on Asian, Chinese.
Asian-born Chinese.
Thank you.
American-born Chinese.
There you go. You too. And I thought, I got to get to know this guy. So what better way to get to know someone, you know me, is invite them on the show. No pre-interview. I just have a conversation with you. And so I'm bringing you a celebrity photographer today. And I'm so glad that you're here. And before we get into you, I do this little discipline, good life habit every weekday morning when I'm on with my guests. And I didn't warn you on purpose, no pre-planning, but things that you're grateful for. It's called Breakfast with My Guest. And we take a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So there's 8 things on the top of the bun. What are you grateful for that is outside of you? And the bottom of the bun is, what do you like about yourself? So that's how we're going to start. You don't have to do all 8. Sometimes Frank participates. Thank you. He's in the back end of the studio as my engineer. Sometimes we have people in the chat that do it as well. No pressure, but just things that you're grateful for. And I'll start. I am grateful that the sun is out today. I know we need the rain, but it's always good. I'm solar powered, so I'm glad that it's sunny outside. What are you grateful for?
Well, I'm grateful for my family, my friends, and my freedom. I feel like being able to do whatever you want is just such a powerful thing that we can never take for granted.
Beautiful. I am grateful that I am going to be on the hunt for Chilean sea bass today because my bonus sister's in from Colorado and she's going to make it with a miso glaze tomorrow. And I'm a huge foodie, so I'm excited about that. What else are you grateful for?
I'm grateful that I'm going to be going on a trip to Colombia to do a shoot with the Mamos tribe, and they're also known as the keepers of the world. So this is one of the first time they've ever been photographed, and it's going to be, we're going to have no electricity for a whole week, and it's very remote, and this is going to be a very grounding, enlightening experience for me. So I can't wait for that.
Excellent. How exciting is that? I'm excited for you. That's
Thank you.
amazing. Amazing. All right. And that's a great gratitude to stop at for the top of the bun, the bottom of the bun. And as you can tell, I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. And David as well is Chinese. And I don't know if you grew up with the saying, the nail that stands up is hammered down. So specifically in our culture, it's also a saying in Japanese culture, if you talk about yourself, if you take pride in yourself, if you put yourself out there in front, you will be hammered down, which is not a lot of motivation for me to do what I do. And it is also a formula that keeps us thinking that we're not good enough. So what I do with this exercise is before you go to bed tonight, I want you to think about not what you didn't do, what you were not good at. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I don't think the younger generation necessarily has this issue, but definitely my generation and the generation before, part of mental health and healing is about liking yourself. So I have you do this weight training in the morning so you can do it at night. What do you appreciate about yourself, your qualities, gifts, and abilities? So I appreciate that I have released that muzzle, my cultural muzzle, I'll say, as an Asian woman, to not speak or be on stage or do what I do. And I appreciate that I've not allowed that to, hide under a bushel, so to speak.
Well, I appreciate that the career that I'm in is very difficult because you always have to believe in yourself. And I've heard so many things about people telling me I'm not doing it right, or I'm just not doing it right. And a lot of times I believe them, but over time I've realized that they were wrong and I was right. So I'm grateful that I could just believe in myself, and I know that I'm doing is right.
Awesome. I appreciate that I enjoy all that life has to offer. So I'm very tactile. I love the feeling of beautiful fabric, and I love the taste of delicious food. So I appreciate my ability to enjoy life.
I appreciate the ability to learn, grow, and have different experiences.
Beautiful. And that's a great one to end on. I think we did 8 between the two of us. That is called Thank You for Having Breakfast with Dr. Marissa and my guest today, David Christopher Lee. So I promise that if you do this little exercise for 28 consecutive days, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way and have a good life habit with which to start your day with. All right, here we go. David Christopher Lee. I do not have an answering machine. When you call me, it's a questioning machine. And when you call me, I say, who are you and what do you want? Who are you and what do you want?
Well, I've been telling stories for 25 years as a journalist and a photographer. And with you, I think I met you a while ago at the San Francisco Opera opening gala. Did you ever go to that?
Maybe.
Okay.
I need a new hard memory drive. But,
Okay. Well, I think I met you there, and then I saw that you were telling all these amazing stories, and I thought that you would be the perfect feature for David's Guide. And I have a section that's all about Asian stories, so I can't wait to tell your story as well.
and I look forward to filling out that huge form. Well, that's wonderful. And did you know when you were a kid that you would be doing what you're doing?
No, I didn't. I actually thought that I would do something related to math or science, but it just turned out that I learned about manifestation when I was 6 years old. So what happened was my family was really into collecting coins, and then my mom took me to the Zig Ziglar conference, and I was 6. So that's where I learned about manifestation. And then since we were collecting coins, I saw this story on the news that was about the rarest penny in the world. It was a 1914 penny made in World War I in Denver. So I just knew in my head that I was going to find that penny on the kids' table, which was a table that was filled with pennies. And so when we went to the show, I went straight to that table and I kept on looking for that penny. And I just knew that it was on that table. And so I think it was 4 hours that passed, and I finally found that penny, and I took it to the microscopes and they verified it for me. And now that penny's worth $6,000. So I just knew that when I was, since that age, that whatever I wanted to do, I could do it. I just had to put my mind to it. And one thing led me to another. And when I was 14, I won these tickets on the radio to the Rick Dees Christmas concert. And that was, it was featuring LaBouche and Real McCoy, which were really big dance acts back at that time. And I ended up bringing my whole entire family, and we just had so much fun. And from that point on, I just knew in my head that I wanted to be in these types of environments. And so I put that manifestation hat back on, and that led me to the Teen Choice Awards. I won this national writing competition. And then I started writing for 17 magazine. Then I started writing for Vogue and Rolling Stone, People, Teen People. And that's really how it happened.
Wow. That is blowing my mind. I mean, I don't do pre-interviews on purpose because I love to be surprised and delighted. And to hear you talk about manifestation, law of attraction, that's the last thing I thought you would be talking about. So I'm delighted, absolutely delighted, because it is true. I mean, the whole, we've been conscripted to this dialogue or this teaching that you have to slave and work hard and, kill yourself to be successful. And it's really kind of ash backwards, because if you believe in yourself and also know that life is conspiring for you all the time and not against you, and you don't have to roll that big rock up the hill and be exhausted. It's a way of living that, we're not taught to do. So I commend your parents, especially as Chinese parents, to have that kind of philosophy to grow their little seedlings at home. So first, did they plant the penny in there?
No, they didn't. They didn't.
Okay.
They didn't even know that about the penny.
Okay, so that was my first question. And then, do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have 2 younger sisters.
2 younger sisters. So you're the gift son, because every Chinese family wants to have a boy, right? Mm-hmm. And a boy first is good. So can you tell me a little bit about their history?
About my sisters?
Nope. Your parents.
Oh, my parents.
Yeah.
Oh, so my parents, my dad's from Hollywood and my mom is from Nebraska. So they grew up here in the States. They both came from restaurant families. So my dad's family had the first Chinese restaurant in Hacienda Heights, and then my mom's family had a restaurant in Downey, and so they grew up in the restaurant industry, and that's a really tough business. And after that, they just knew that they didn't want to do restaurants. So my dad ended up becoming a teacher, and then my mom started a custom T-shirt business, and both my parents did the custom T-shirt business. So they were both entrepreneurs, and the background, my childhood background with my sisters is we would help them sell T-shirts at these dance, chair, and drill team competitions. So back in the 80s, the late 80s, they started selling dance, drill, and chair T-shirts, like a clothing line. And they were the first to do dance on the butt. And I saw what it was like to design the clothes, to do the production, to organize the whole team of where to go for all the different high schools that we would sell at. And it was just amazing, because one of my favorite childhood experiences was selling these shirts at the Miss Drill Team USA competition. And we would not stop collecting $20 bills for like 12 hours or something like that. So we would come back with like $20,000-$30,000 in cash. And we did this every year. And I just saw how much hard work my parents put into this whole production. And I saw the joy and the results and the fruits of our labor. So having that kind of experience is just like, it's so special. And when you're doing it as a family, it's even better.
Yes. So you got a hands-on business experience with both the process, right, and the all of that. So you had on-the-job entrepreneurial training, which is very valuable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I call myself a solopreneur. And it wasn't until I got invited to teach at one of the largest entrepreneurial universities that I remember, accepting the post and then saying, I think I'm an entrepreneur. It came very late, very, very late in my business career, but that's great. That is great. So you create now. I have to say, you use oil of Olay. When you said you've been doing this for 25 years, you do not look very old, and I'm sure that is told to you often, right?
Yeah.
You really do look like late teen, early 20. That's when I first went to you. I went, okay, he's young. But did you recognize any of the people in the promo or any of the people that I've interviewed?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Of course.
Good. Because I am hashtag ageless, but I do know that when I say, especially this last interview with Rich Leddell, who worked with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, and just the greats of Hollywood, and people, the younger ones are like, have no clue what you're talking about. So it's a little bit sad, but it is really, it's phenomenal the kind of alternative Chinese upbringing you have. Because in contrast, I had the traditional, the only thing that's important is school. I was allowed 1 hour of TV a week. Okay. And if I got an A-, it was bad. And math and science, I got perfect PSATs. And so my father was so excited because he wanted me to go to MIT and be an engineer. I don't think I could have done that. But for me to do what I'm doing at the beginning, psychology, being on stage, it's almost like a stripper, right? I wasn't allowed to talk to my niece, my cousin's daughter, because she wanted to go into psychology, and that was not an acceptable, calling, so to speak. So you didn't have any of that.
Well, I didn't have any of that, but for some reason I studied so much. But then as I grew older, I just realized like the academic field was just not for me. So I was lucky that my parents were very supportive in my endeavors, and they just told me I could do whatever I want. So that was nice.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. So being a doctor or a lawyer is usually what is acceptable.
Mhm. Well, they wanted me to be a lawyer because they knew I was good at writing, but it's just that I wasn't pushing myself towards that direction, so they didn't really push it that hard either. So that was good.
Yeah, that definitely. Now, can I ask, are you married?
No, I'm not.
You're not married. So have you ever been married?
No, I haven't.
So you're cute and everything, but you're too old. I'm just kidding. That's my inside joke. But so are you dating? Are you interested in having a mate, so to speak, or are you concentrating on your career?
Right now, I'm just concentrating on my career, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. And so no pressure from mom and dad on that?
No.
Wow. They really are. They're not first generation. I think that is a huge difference, I will say, between those who are first. My parents were first generation, so I was first born in this country kind of thing. And when I was in Australia on tour just this past month, I was in conversation with some ABC's Australian-born Chinese, and we were talking about the difficulty in linking the cultures of the parents and their strong belief system, their BS, that kids have to follow parents' bidding. They have to listen. They have to obey, and don't talk back. And how dare you do something or be something that I don't approve of? And that really strong message coming up against, growing up in a country where I'll never forget, I was over at my girlfriend's place, I won't say her name, when we were like 9 or 10 years old. And her mom told her when I was over there to clean up her room. And she turned around and said, if you tell me what to do one more time, I'm reporting you to Child Protective Services. And I'm like complete blew my difference, right, of the culture there and here.
Mm-hmm.
So it is one of those unique situations that I think ABCs, when their parents are first generation, have to deal with. So I saw, as I went and stalked you on your Instagram, that you are I think you're a founder of the ABC club or group or organization.
Oh, I'm just a board member of the American-born Chinese Foundation. So that organization is it's all about bringing bilingual books to ABCs, to Asian-born, to American-born Chinese all over the country, so that they can learn Chinese, so they won't be like me.
I asked him in the sound check to say 1 through 10 in Mandarin, and he apologized. He did do a little.
I know Yi San Su.
Which one?
Yi San Su.
Okay. Yeah. Your ing it could use a little. The way.
Yeah, I know.
But the fact that you know a little is definitely great, and the desire to do it. Now, how did that organization even come to be? Because I do know a lot of American-born Chinese who don't want to learn or don't want to. And I'll speak for myself. I was made fun of so badly We were the only Chinese family. There was one Chinese, one Japanese, one Black, and one Indian family in this very small town in Ontario, Canada, which makes me a CBC, Canadian Born Chinese. And so all my life, I was pretending or trying not to be Chinese. And so when I went to Hawaii and people asked if I was Hawaiian, I would not say no. I wouldn't say yes, but I just let them think that that's what it was, because to be Hawaiian was cool. To be Chinese was bad. So I'm interested in how that, you being on the board, how did all that start?
Well, what happened was my friend Bonnie Hyde is the founder of the organization, and she told me that she was having this big Chinese New Year party, and so I told her that I could help her. You know, I could help her with celebrities, with media, and just with overall organizations and sponsors. So that's how that happened, and now we're going to be doing a lot of amazing things together. So we're going to be doing photo shoots to raise money for the organization, a lot of different events, and yeah, lots of things.
Cool. You can introduce me, because that is definitely one of my embracing Chinese roots. My own, in my own life, I was so delighted. My younger daughter actually took a double major, psych and Chinese.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So one of the things about this little guy, I don't know if you saw this. This is my #1 bestseller, and I want to take it into China to have it the other way around, translated into Chinese to deal with all of the culture clash that I was just speaking about, and how it is part of the Chinese culture to use negative motivation and tell you you're fat, tell you you're ugly, tell you you're not good, to force you to prove them wrong. But that has an unintended consequence of really creating a lot of dis-ease with yourself. And so when I spoke at the embassy in Beijing in 2019, there wasn't a dry eye in the place because of all the women. It was a women's group I got to speak to who were identifying with that. So there's that other side. So that's fascinating. I think that's wonderful what you're doing, and you're using your limelight that you have to help with that. And one of the things that just occurred to me was with all what's going on in America now. And I don't talk politics on this show because we're trying to stay positive. But the whole melting pot now becoming a boiling pot, it feels like. And I'd love to hear sort of your take on some of my observations that I've had. And I didn't pause for station ID. I apologize. If you've just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in the studio today, you are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and the central hub for all the shows you can watch and listen, my YouTube TV channel, where if you free subscribe, you can get an alert every weekday morning to tune in to the show about hope and happiness. And today we're delighted on my hashtag Tuesday Talent series to have a celebrity photographer who actually met me, and I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember the exact circumstances.
Well, it was 10 years ago, so it's okay.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But delighted that he's here. He has asked to feature me in his guide, which is an honor, and I'm getting to know him here on the show. If you have any questions for him or comments, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we will get to them. We're just going through now one of the focuses that I wanted to chat with you about, your perspective on just this thing called diversity in America, which the whole intent, I think, in the beginning, Statue of Liberty, welcome to all the diverse people who helped build this country, Black slaves, the Irish railroad, and Chinese and Japanese railroad building in the early days, the Native Americans who were the original settlers of this country. And I thought we were doing pretty good until this MAGA stuff, and then also, what Gaza, this whole conflict with Gaza. I've never seen anti-Semitism in our country to the extent that it is right now because of what's going on. And it reminded me of when COVID broke out and all the anti-Asian hate that went on, because it's not just China, it's anyone who looks Chinese is now a negative presence in this country. And it's similar to what's happening wherever it's happening in the world. If you don't look like you are a traditional white settler, then somehow you are bringing your negative culture into this country. I don't believe that. I don't want to think that. I'm not introducing that. I'm observing this and would love to have your take on it.
Well, I do think that things need to be diverse. I mean, there's just been like such a big backlash between the right and the left, and it's just such a huge conflict. I think that there's a lot of good things that are happening with diversity, but then there's also a lot of bad things that happen with the diversity, particularly when it comes to diversity hires, because I've just seen a lot of people that are just hired based on their ethnicity, but they don't really know what they're doing. So that just makes things very, very difficult. So as an Asian American, I feel that it's important for us to be given the same opportunity, but it is important for us to work very hard at the same time. So when I first started taking pictures at the Teen Choice Awards, I was pretty much the only Asian person on the red carpet. And I am so grateful that things have changed, because now when I go to these big Hollywood events, there are so many more Asian people. So, and not just Asians, there's just like all the different cultures and ethnicities. So that we're definitely making progress on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is in psychology. There's actually it's called the backyard effect. So if you go travel to another country, you're like, oh wow, that's cool, that's different. And then when they come into your backyard, it's a negative thing, right? The differences are a negative thing. So I think I'm seeing that on steroids now. Largely due to the acceptance or the role modeling that goes on in leadership of, go home, right? Go back. I was shockingly called a gook. Yeah, probably like 5 years ago. So, that stereotype or that group difference.
Where was that?
That was in Anaheim.
Okay.
I was on my way to go sing on stage in Anaheim for an event, and I got a flat tire right in the intersection. So I was up on in the center divider, and this woman, Caucasian woman in a white truck. I now have an aversion to white trucks, and she came, and I thought she was going to offer help. We're doing like the craziest thing. I thought she was going to say, are you okay? Do you need a tow truck or whatever? And she rolled down her window. I rolled down my window, and she spit and spit out, you stupid gook. Actually, she used another word. So, yeah, I was I hadn't heard that word. Wow. I don't think I'd ever been called a gook, actually. I've been called a chunk, which is a fat chink, which
Oh,
was
wow.
not nice
Mhm.
as well. So yeah. So I agree. It's a tough thing. Affirmative action, equal opportunity. Can we enforce something like that? I was I was one of the first diversity consultants in Los Angeles, and I'm very happy that I was part of that because it showed my full circle on my own Chinese roots. But it is difficult when you promote someone into a spot based on their ethnicity, and there's no systems or tools to help that person be successful. And that is not the fault of that person. It's the responsibility of the system and the organization to not do that. So that's part of the backfire. And then unfortunately, just doing diversity training or harassment training, it drove the discrimination and prejudice underground. So that was the downfall of good intentions, right, to do that. But you cannot argue with having Michelle Yeoh as the winner of a prestigious award and having more and more Asian predominant actors in the field to influence younger actresses or young women or young Asians to enter a field that is not traditionally filled by people of color, right? So there is, how do you balance that out?
Oh, how do you balance it out? That's a tough question. I mean, it's a combination of giving people the opportunity, but giving them the proper training to succeed, like you said. So
Yeah. Does
that's
it,
figured out.
do you ever get people that say, as a Chinese male, what do you think about?
What do I think about for
Anything. Like just asking you as a representative of the entire Chinese male race.
Well, I just felt like whatever it was, like I wasn't even really conscious of racism when I was just starting out, because I just saw it as like I just had to be in these places no matter what, and I loved it. And even if now I realize that there were probably times where I didn't get the job or whatever just because of my race, but looking back on it, it's okay because I wasn't even thinking about it like that before. So it was just that my passion was so great that none of that was really relevant. And even if I wasn't given certain opportunities, it just meant that I had to try harder. And that's exactly what I did.
And therein lies, I think, the advice, right? For anyone who wants to do something that has, there are not necessarily role models in that particular field. The passion, if you lead with the passion, then there's part of that law of attraction formula, right? If you are positively looking forward to it, getting ready to be ready to be ready. Are you a student at all of Abraham? Do you listen to Abraham or?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what? Did you watch What the Bleep or Law of Attraction, The Secret?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So the difference for me is The Secret is more materially focused on manifestation, whereas Abraham is more focused on your ability to focus and choose the best feeling thought, which then puts you in that place that you're going to attract whatever it is that you desire, so to speak. So that's the passion part that I think is truly the answer for anyone.
And also when it comes to passion and manifestation, it's not like, you're this all powerful person that can control everything around you. It's it's more about finding your alignment with the universe. And once you find that alignment, then things will just start happening. But it's, it's like if you're a surfer, you're not controlling the waves. You're just like looking for the wave that's the right wave for you. And then once you find it, then you're just riding that wave. And that's exactly what, that's how I see things.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you meditate?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. That's one of the best tools. And how long do you meditate?
I try to do about an hour a
Really?
day. Mhm.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I only do 15 minutes because, but whatever works for you, works for you. But I encourage everyone to just spend some time not thinking so that you can clear the pipes and get the inspiration and creativity that comes through from a friendly universe. So
Well, even just 1 minute a day is better than nothing. So
true. Absolutely. So you're going to Colombia.
Mhm.
How did that come about?
So my friend is he's a shaman and meditation mindset expert. His name is Alan Torres, and we've been really good friends for a while. And I've been on many of his meditation retreats, and I've taken pictures for him. And this opportunity came up, and I was just like, I was just so happy that it came around. And he's actually he's getting married there too. So he's having a meditation ceremony hosted by them. And I think this is one of the first times that an outsider person has had a ceremony with them. So this is going to be really exciting.
That's so cool. That's so cool. The part about no electricity is also very interesting. That you will no iPhone.
Yeah.
No posting.
Well, I will have the iPhone because I'm going to shoot some video and stuff. But there's just no internet. So I'm just bringing a bunch of extra batteries.
Okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So
And I really believe in cleanses. I actually did a 7-day dry fast before. So that's no food. Yeah. No food and no water for 7 days. And then over 6 months, I was doing 3 40-hour dry fasts a week. So this is like my electricity fast, I guess.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. I can't do it. Good for you. You can't do it. No desire to even try. I'm definitely, I am naturally high. My addictions are not the normal addictions for sure. Now, how do people, do you also do photography like for hire, right? I saw some corporate events that you were taking pictures of on your Instagram as well.
Yeah.
You do that.
Yeah.
So
I do a lot of portraits. I do corporate headshots. I've shot events. I've done a lot of videos for different brands. So yeah, all types of stuff.
And I'm gonna just put up here. It's at CHRIS Lee. No,
dclee.net.
Okay, give me your Instagram first.
David C. Lee Photography.
David C. Lee Photography. Oops. And we'll put that there. And then let's get your website, which is
dclee.net.
dclee.net. And get to have the ability to pop that up. All right. Cool. Wow, those are like portraits.
Mm-hmm.
Is it being shared now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm just scrolling through. I'm trying to see if I recognize anybody here.
You should be able to recognize a lot of these people.
This guy looks familiar.
That's Russell Wong.
Is he's an actor?
Yeah, he was on Joy Luck Club.
Oh, okay. That's why. I love that movie.
He was on Shang-Chi.
Okay.
And then,
have you met my nephew, Garrett Wong?
No, I haven't.
He was Ensign Kim on the Voyager.
Okay.
Let's see. Beautiful.
Thanks.
I've interviewed him.
Yeah, he's amazing. John Paul DeJoria.
Isn't he amazing? I
Yeah.
love him. I got to interview him twice, actually. And, he gives back every year to Salvation Army because he was homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know about that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just amazing, absolutely amazing. Uh-oh, I'm getting a sign here. Hold on. Oh, you did that. I'm sorry, I didn't even see you put that in the chat. All right. So what is in the guide that you need from me?
Oh, so I just need your bio, and then I'm going to write up some questions, and then if you just fill out those questions, and then I'm going to turn it into a beautiful piece, and it's going to be all about you.
Oh, I like that. You give me an example of a question. You get to interview me on my show now.
Well, I would ask you, what are some of the most amazing stories that you've heard on your show over your whole career? I think that would be really interesting.
And I'll answer that right now just to give some credit to some people. One is Greg O'Brien, who got early onset Alzheimer's. And he's a Pulitzer award-winning writer, which you would like to know. Mm-hmm. And he was able to help the world understand from inside the mind of someone with Alzheimer's what it's like. Mm. That was so powerful. Another one is Frederick, who was in the Rwandan genocide and on a bus ordered by the terrorists to kill the people in the bus, and he refused. So they cut off his arms right here, both arms. Wow. And he now is, he has a rehabilitation center in Rwanda to help people who were amputated.
Wow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, and these are not, names, right? This one is a name, but maybe not heard by all. But I love making my guests cry, and I know that sounds horrible, but tears are the disinfectant that keep our hearts soft, and it shows me your heart is open. So I had, did you watch Blackfish?
Mm-mm.
Okay. If you can, watch it. Mm-hmm. Or The Cove. Did you watch The Cove?
No.
Okay. So those are two that I strongly recommend. Rick O'Barry, that memory thing. Rick O'Barry was, do you remember the movie Flipper?
Yes.
Okay, good. So he was Flipper's trainer.
Okay.
And he went from being Flipper's trainer to being a dolphin activist, helping dolphins escape from captivity in marine land or marine world and things like that. And then, which led him to go to Taiji, Japan, where he streamed in for my interview. And he's single-handedly changed the success of the Taiji people's practice of corralling all the dolphins into the cove, and they test the dolphins to see which one are the smartest, capture them, send them to SeaWorld, and then slaughter the rest of the dolphins in the cove, and it's all red with the blood. So that's the yearly practice. And he single-handedly stopped that, or lessened it. And when I asked him why, and he's been on Larry King Live and Oprah and all kinds of, 2020 Today Show, and they're usually very quick interviews. And I had time, and I said to him, could you tell me why you went from dolphin trainer to dolphin a savior or saving, an activist. And he said, oh, it's a sad story and no one's ever really asked me that. And I went, please, and he began to share that one of the flipper dolphins that he was closest to came on his lap. And dolphins, unlike humans, if we try to suffocate ourselves, if we hold our breath, we will involuntarily breathe because that's just the way our bodies are. Dolphins, however, can suicide by closing their breath hole and actually die.
Oh, wow.
And Flipper, the main Flipper dolphin, came on his lap and closed his hole and died in his arms.
Oh my God.
And he was crying. Rick was crying when he was telling the story, and I was crying when he was telling the story, and I'm getting emotional now. But that moment that he shared, that he has not really shared in any other interview. And I was so moved by that. And we are friends as a result. I'm friends with most of my guests because I have that passion, as you were saying, but not just interviewing, but really opening and seeing the hearts of the original, right? Why? Where? When was that moment? That passion moment. So there you go. Hopefully somebody can transcribe those 3 so I don't have to write them out. We can cut this portion out. But yeah, so those are the 3. Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, it was wonderful having, Marianne that you saw in the promo, Marianne Ross, who was Mrs. Cunningham. I love her. I'm in contact with her son, who's been on my show a couple of times. I interviewed his wife, and I love that family. Marianne from Gilligan's Island. I love her, became friends with her. We lost her first part of COVID. So I'm just so fortunate to have had, really quality time with all those people, as I've had with you.
Oh, I had so much fun.
Good. I'm so glad. And because this is just what I love to do, is to get to know interesting and bright people who want to get to know me. And I figured this was a win-win way to do that. Way better than scheduling a 15-minute call.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Thank you for playing along with me. I wish you much, how cool the thing with Columbia, but continued success. I know this is only the beginning of our working with each other, and look forward to all kinds of exciting projects on and off the carpet with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see how much time we have. I think we are coming up. Frank did not give me a sign for a change, but it looks like I'm a minute away from closing. I guess, what is your wish for people for Year of the Dragon this year?
Just for everybody to find their passions and live it and change the world.
Perfectly said. It is the last minute. Would you do this with me? It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Thank you. Now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow. Doctors in the house. Thank you.